You are listening to the Region 5 Gymnastics Insider Podcast, Episode 2. On today's show, we will look back at Level 9 Easterns and the parity within Region 5 at these championships. Region 5 more than doubled the age group wins at JO Nationals from a year ago, but fell short of the trophy. We will discuss the full competition, a possible error in super team competition results, and why those in Flight A on the junior side may have had an advantage. A history moment was equaled, a new skill in the code from a Region 5 Level 9, and we announced the 2018 Region 5 All-Star Team.
I'm a Region 5, we are burning fire. Say 1, 2, ready or not, here I come, coming in hot. I'ma take my body for a spin.
Hey everybody, Jason McDonald here, Editor-in-Chief of the Region 5 Gymnastics Insider. And joining me today are Insider admins Kim Dawes and Jason. I like to do triple series in the hotel lobbies at JO Nationals buttons.
It just was so exciting seeing everybody else do it. I just felt like I had to join in.
It was pretty impressive.
Welcome to our second Region 5 Insider Podcast presented by Speith America, trusted gymnasium and sports equipment manufacturer in North America for over 50 years. And Energym Music, floor music that rocks. Use Region 5 Insider 15 for 15% off your music purchase for the 2019 season. The Region 5 Insider provides gymnastics media content all year long, and that costs money. Help us out by becoming a Patreon contributor. You can find the link on the top right of this page or in the show notes. Also, shop our Insider store for all your gymnastics training essentials, and a portion of that sale goes to our site. The show notes for this episode can be found on our website at region5gyminsider.com. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for future podcasts and more gymnastics content from the best region in the country. All our social media links can be found in our show notes. Now let's get into the show. We kick it off with a recap of the 2018 Level 9 Eastern Nationals in Rochester, New York. Region 5 is always a favorite to win the Super Team title at Easterns each year, but this year, Region 8 took that crown by only 1 point over Region 5. It was a close competition to the end, and though we had the highest point total on Day 3, it wasn't enough to catch Region 8. We won 6 of the 16 age groups, as well as 7 all-around champions. And what was nice to see is the 7 all-around champions came from 6 different gyms. That shows the depth and parity of the gyms we have in our region. Legacy Elite won 2 age groups, but Michigan Academy, Stars and Stripes, Gymnastics Unlimited, Cincinnati, and Universal each had an all-around champ of their own. Congratulations to those clubs. It's great to see all these clubs getting rewarded for all their hard work. Though it may have seemed as if we were there, we had a lot of help from our awesome coaches around the region, as there were many. I think the champion hat, though, goes out to Claudia from GymAmerica for all her pictures and boomerangs. She kept us very up-to-date on what was going on moment to moment. I know I felt like I was there watching the meet unfold as I checked the live results and also looked at, obviously, all the coaching texts that we got. Kim, what were your major highlights from Level 9 Nationals that you saw from our Region 5 Dream Team?
Well, pretty much now that you've said everything I was going to say. Some of the major highlights, I think, were the amount of all-around champions that we had and that they were coming from different gyms, which I thought was very cool. And then they were kind of a few were people that we had picked out as being able to win, and some were kids I'd never heard of. So that was kind of fun. So out of the 7 all-around champions, as Jason you had said, one from pretty much all different gyms, different areas of Region 5. Ava Molina, she's from CGA. She won the Junior 5 age group. Also, she finished first on bars and beam and third on floor, so she had quite the little medal haul there. She was one of those kids that we pegged as one to watch, and she definitely delivered at Easterns. And in the Junior 6 age group, we have Laci Keck from Gymnastics Unlimited. She also took home 3 more medals, first on the floor exercise and third on vault and bars. So another one who made quite an impact for her age group. I didn't really know who Laci was and never really heard of Gymnastics Unlimited, but kind of cool that she won.
You haven't heard of Gymnastics Unlimited?
No. The one in Michigan, yeah, but she's not from that one.
Right, she's from the one in Indiana.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Oh, they've been doing really well, especially on the compulsory scene for the last couple of years.
Well, I'm going to have to get to know Gymnastics Unlimited then.
I mean, it's unlimited.
Okie dokie. Pushing forward. Junior 7 age group, we had Maleah Crowley from Legacy Elite taking the top spot, also placing second in the floor, third on the beam. She is one of 2 from Legacy Elite who won a national title. In Junior 4, Jenna Olshefski from UGA not only took first in the all-around, but she also took first on the balance beam and second on bars.
Let's clarify UGA, and since that's not United Gymnastics, that is Universal Gymnasts. That's in Ohio, so everyone just make sure everyone's clear on that.
Moving on to the senior age groups, we had from Senior 3, Lane Rodocker from Stars and Stripes. I love this kid. She kind of came out of nowhere, essentially. But she was also first on bars and beam. And she was another one of those one-to-watch kids that delivered at nationals and won. Senior 5, Mia Figola from Legacy Elite. She also picked up 2 individual medals on bars and floor, placing second on both. And then Jocelyn Warsina from MAG. She was in the Senior 7 age group and took top honors there. This kid, I like her a lot. She has been a level 9 for a few years, and I'm glad she finally won because I like her. She was also second on the bars. But as far as inside the age groups, other placings, almost every age group had somebody or a couple kids placing in the top 5, top 3, and a couple others winning event titles. We had in the Junior 6 age group, Rachel Rybacki from Olympia Gymnastics. She took top spot on bars and beam. As well as in the Senior 4, Madison Steckel from Midwest. She was the vault champion.
We still have some more content coming from Level 9 Easterns, as we will profile all 7 of our all-around champions in our annual Region 5 Eastern National all-around champion profile. So definitely look out for those, and we can learn more about our 7 all-around champions. Sometimes it's not just medals and championships that determine success. How about getting a skill named after you in the JO Code of Points? This happened this year at Easterns, and we mentioned that we talked a little bit about this particular kid on the last podcast and the possibility of this happening at Easterns. But Kim, tell us a little bit more about what happened to Briar.
So Briar Burden from Water's Edge in Michigan, she has been competing a original dismount off beam all season long, and her goal was to successfully complete it at nationals. And if she did, she would have this skill named after her in the JO Code of Points. Briar did complete it successfully at Eastern Nationals, so she will have her name in the Code of Points for her dismount, which will be called the Burden. It's a gainer back tuck off the side of the beam, kind of like you do on the diving board. So you'd stand like facing the judges, jump in the air, forward, back tuck, backwards. And her and her mom have talked about playing with trying to do it in combination next.
Now, would it change the value if you chose to do it off the end? It should be exactly the same. It should be the same. It's not any harder.
If you do it off the end?
Right. Wouldn't it be the same?
No, because when you gain her off the side and you gain her off the end, those are different.
Right, but that's because of a one-leg entry. But a 2-foot takeoff off the side, you're still pushing away the same. It shouldn't matter where you do it. 2-foot takeoff.
I'm sure it's a C, but...
And it might already be in the code, and so you're just... No, but I'm saying off the end.
2 feet off the end?
Right. I'm assuming, like, if that one leg is off, why wouldn't a 2-foot?
I don't know. It's not in... Maybe off the end, but off the side. It's...
Right, but my point is, from a technical standpoint, it is not more difficult to do a 2-foot off the end versus the side. It would be from a single leg, because you're pushing away to the side, or pushing... You know, you don't have to push away at all if you do a single leg off the end. Off the side of the beam, does that make sense? There's no...
Yeah, but
it's not harder. It's the same.
But off the side is 1,000 times easier than off the end. I've done both. doing a gainer off of one leg off the side of the beam.
Is easier.
So easy. Off the end,
Right.
not so much.
I know, I agree. I'm just saying a 2-foot takeoff would be the same offside or in.
Yeah,
It would be
that's correct.
any difficult. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, I'm with you now.
Well, Briar, it's still a cool skill, and congratulations on that. I'm not doing it. I'm never getting up there to do it, so congratulations to you. Jason, we may see videos of Jason doing it.
On the buttons up.
Yes. Check out Buttons Up on Instagram, and I'm sure you'll find something similar to it in the next coming days. But anyway, congratulations, Briar. That's awesome, and keep pushing along on that, and hopefully maybe we'll see an upgrade even with that dismount down the road. There was a little bit of a controversy, necessarily maybe not a controversy, but a gym issue between regionals and level 9 Easterns. Can you just talk a little bit about kind of that situation, Kim?
Infinity Gymnastics in Illinois, right after regionals, closed their doors unexpectedly. I don't really know the full story about why they closed their doors, but they did. But they did have an athlete, Maddie Rydel, who did qualify to level 9 Easterns. So my big question, once I saw that this gym had closed, is what's going to happen to this girl? Is she going to be able to compete at Easterns? What's going to happen? So Maddie's coaches found a place for her to train. She trained at some high schools who have gymnastics teams and practiced when she could, pretty much. So her coaches took her to Eastern Nationals, and she did quite well in the competition. She ended up finishing second on bars. So not being able to consistently train between regionals and nationals really didn't hurt her a lot, but she did, still come out with a second place medal. And a big props to those coaches of hers who stuck with her and took her to this meet when, the gym is closed, and who knows if, she was even going to be able to go. So it was kind of cool that her coaches stuck by her and got her to nationals.
Well, I remember at level 7-8 regionals is actually when pretty much everyone found out, including the coach, one of the coaches you're talking about, Andre, who was there coaching the level 7 and 8s at regionals. And I remember just, seeing him in the coaching area, having a deep conversation. It was kind of intense. I didn't know really what it was, obviously, but after that I had talked to him, and he just said, the gym had closed. No one knew, not even some of the coaches, which was kind of probably frustrating for them, obviously. But the fact that they were able to, get together and try to find ways to, make sure that she has an experience in being able to compete at level 9 after qualifying is awesome, and hats off to them to be able to do that for them, or for her.
Absolutely. And we did have a parent who I think used to work in the gym and whose daughter went there, who actually contacted us to let us know about this story, because it's pretty incredible, especially, you get paid to go to meets, and these coaches, this all probably came out of their pocket now after the gym being closed. So
yeah, obviously we don't know necessarily the details to that. The family may have helped out here and there, which, I know that lots of our families would have probably have done that. But just the fact that they were able to stick with her and be able to help her and find ways to get her to prepare for nationals, and then she did quite well. That's just great, and that's awesome to hear that type of story. All in all, Easterns was a successful competition for Region 5, and we look forward to seeing many of these kids jump into the level 10 ranks in 2019. There are a few I know we will be talking about come championship time next year. Congratulations to all our level 9 Eastern qualifiers and coaches. For over 50 years, Speith America has been one of the most trusted gymnasium and sports equipment manufacturers in North America. Speith America is an FIG partner, official apparatus supplier of Gymnastics Canada, and the official apparatus supplier of the NAIGC. This year, our partner Speith Gymnastics in Germany will supply equipment to the Commonwealth Games and World Cups in Cottbus, Melbourne, Baku, Doha, and Stuttgart. In 2019, Speith will be the official supplier to the World Gymnastics Championships in Stuttgart, Germany. Speith America has now relocated to Michigan and is excited to be offering world-class equipment at affordable rates to events looking for equipment rentals. If you have any questions about Speith equipment, please visit speithamerica.com. Speith America is proud to be an official sponsor of the Region 5 Gymnastics Insider. Well, this past weekend, all of us were in downtown Cincinnati for the 2018 Level 10 JO National Championships. This weekend is always exciting, yet physically, mentally, and emotionally draining as well. Speaking of the emotion side, JB, you coached one of your athletes in competition for the last time. Though we will talk about the competition in more depth coming up, what was it like being on the floor with Anna?
Emotional, to say the least, just because, graduating senior, I coached her for many years now. We started on floor and she was the first up. And I remember I sometimes do a little pre-speech before they compete and sometimes not. And so I went and started to talk and I was overwhelmed with emotion. I'm like, okay, well, I'm done talking now. Like I said something generic like just do your routine or one skill at a time, just because I couldn't make it more emotional. And then after that, the crowd was deafening. Since we were in Cincinnati, so close to the gym, we had a lot of people that had come up to support her last JO meet. And I remember as I was filming, I was shaking with adrenaline, like I couldn't control myself. But after that moment, then everything kind of got normal again and less emotions involved. But that first routine, a little emotionally charged for sure.
She started on floor at regionals and nationals.
Yes, first up both times.
That's kind of cool.
So we got our music correct at JO's, but I will say on training day, I had the correct one up, and I somehow reverted back to her 2 year ago floor music, and she gave me this death stare because that's what happened at regionals.
Not again. Not again. I was in that session with you guys, and I remember the last rotation was balance beam, obviously, and just her finishing a routine, and Rakai, almost just basically just dropped. It was like she knew she was done coaching. She wasn't good. Granted, she's not left the gym yet until like later in the summer, but it was like, wow, all these years, and this was the last time I will coach you on the competition floor, and that's something I'm probably going to have to deal with next year. Obviously, with our level 10 Peyton will be a senior, but it was cool. It was cool to watch you guys and just being able to just experience that one more time. And as we will get into the story in a little bit, under some circumstances that were difficult for her, that happened in training and pushed through, a tough kid for sure. Region 5 had a lot of success this year at JO Nationals. Last year, as I said, we won only 2 age groups. This year we doubled that or more than doubled that with 5, which was the most of any region at JOs this year. We had some huge performances across all our age groups, and some coming down to the final rotations for the championships. We also had 4 national all-around champions and 15 event champions. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to catch Region 1 for the Super Team Trophy. Region 8 was second, and we settled for third for the 4th straight year. Or did we? More on that in a minute, but let's talk about the competition. I was in the Junior A session, in the first session, was filming with the Junior A's, and they had to deal with adversity right from the start, right from the get-go. I think it was the second turn up on bars. Taylor DeVries from Legacy Elite peeled on her dismount, knee to the nose, broken nose, blood coming out, had to be addressed with obviously the trainer, staff, and what have you. They checked her out. She seemed fine, except for obviously probably a broken nose. They put gauze in her nose to stop the bleeding or to collect the blood, and she went right back up there and continued her warm-ups and continued her job. And the team responded very well. Bars was their first event, and they had the highest score in that age group on bars first rotation out. They were led by eventual national bars champion Sydney Jellin from Legacy Elite, who had a 9.6. But Taylor showed her toughness on bars, went 9.225, and throughout the meet, she just was, hitting and basically doing her job. She placed 5th, on floor with a 9.5, and she just definitely was in the moment and really excited about competing and not letting that particular issue bother her. And here's what she had to say about the situation after the meet.
Well, it was really scary, and I just knew that I wanted to get up and do it again because I worked so hard to make it here, especially because it's my first time and it's a great experience.
Riley Pitts started the team off out on strong with very strong, awesome balance beam routine with her, of course, her 2 back handsprings to a double back. for a 9.575 for third. That got a big roar from the crowd when they saw this little tyke doing this big dismount. And this also routine caught the eye and a big applause from Tom Forster, a member of the U.S. national staff. He was very excited and actually came and talked to Donna for a while, her coach, about Riley. A few bumps in the road during the first three events, but they kept fighting. Unfortunately for them, vault was their last event, which was their weakest event. Only one 10-0 start value amongst the 7 of them. That was Elizabeth Gantner from JPAC. She had a nice full twisting Yurchenko. They finished 8th on vault as a team, dropping them down to 4th in the final standings. They were in the 2nd to 3rd place position pretty much during the entire competition. They were doing, like I said, a great job. But obviously, when you end on vault and you start at 9.7s on most vaults and go 9.05, 9.075 for good vaults. I mean, they nothing wrong in terms of them. They did their job for what they had. But obviously, those 3/10 on each vault, it can be a killer. Hats off for this team, however, as all but 2 were first-time national qualifiers. And I remember last year, it was deer in the headlights for the junior A's. Very worried, nervous, small things became big things, and it just was not the greatest of sessions last year. This team handled themselves, and like I said, it was a great showing. Just unfortunately, vault was a little weaker for them. Winning the all-around in the session, as we talked about on the last podcast, was Makarri Doggette, who was a gymnast, as we said, at Legacy Elite. She won the all-around with a 38.325, and she also helped her Region 3 team win this particular session. So hats off to our junior A's. Like I said, they did an awesome job, and it was fun to watch them gel and mesh together, and Taylor, wow, just the toughness that she had to go out there and compete. Gauze in her nose and what have you, just was awesome. So congratulations to the junior A's.
Later on in that day, I talked to Gianni about Taylor, and she had told me that she was really impressed with her because after she did that and her nose is bleeding and everything, she didn't sit and cry. She didn't have any really emotions, that she just kind of dealt with it, gripped back up, chalked back up, and on her way she went. So that
it's probably because her tear ducts were closed by being smashed in the face.
Maybe, but Johnny was very impressed that, a kid, normally that could frustrate a kid and kind of mess with a kid's bar routine or mind or whatever. But Gianni was pretty impressed that she didn't cry, she didn't carry on. She just kind of, okay, that happened, grip up, chalk up, let's get our job done. So I just thought it was cool to hear.
There was no break in terms of, she just got back up and did her job, and hats off to her. Awesome job. But during that time period, Kim, what was going on in the senior gym with the senior A's?
Well, the senior A's also had a little bit of their own drama, not quite a broken nose, but Brooke Conley from Gymnastics, she had hurt her ankle in training the day before and came into the competition. They started on floor, the senior A's. She warmed up floor all the way through floor warm-up, gave it her best, but ended up having to pull out of the meet right before the kids marched out to salute for floor. And Alyssa Parlich from Aerial was put in because she was the alternate, and she ended up having to warm up her tumbling and her routine in between her teammates' floor routines. So kind of a rushed situation for her, trying to get warmed up adequately in between those routines. And sometimes she wouldn't get a full turn on the floor, sometimes she would. But she ended up, stepping up, stepping in, and doing very well for her team. She also ended up with an 8th place finish on beam. So she stepped in and she gave it her all, and she was ready to go. So it was kind of, there's a little drama happening there, but it was kind of cool to see her step up and be ready to go. The rest of the senior A team, they all had strong performances. They came together as a team. Emma Pritchard from Gym Extreme was our highest all-around finisher with her 9th place finish. She also took a 6th place on the beam. And then we didn't really have a huge amount of top 10 finishers in this age group, but these kids came and did their job, and they were consistent. And they, it's 8 a.m. They had the 8 a.m. session. You can be a little tired still at 8 a.m.
Haylee Bryant was not tired on vault.
No, Haylee Bryant wasn't tired at all.
Well, Haylee Bryant is kind of a mutant kind of gymnast.
What was the highest vault score of the entire weekend? Was it hers?
I think it was 9-9. I didn't see another bigger.
9-9.
9-9 was the highest.
Yeah, I don't think there was another higher score than that.
Oh, it was so pretty.
It was hers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was hers. It was a pike pike front handspring half. And that 9-9 was with a hop.
I just saw the score. I unfortunately didn't get to see. Kim chose Senior A, so I didn't get to see Haylee Bryant compete.
No, but it was, there was a hop, but it was a freaking huge vault.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful. And it's a 10-1 start, so they only took 2 10s on it. But...
I was like tapping somebody going, did you see that? Shannon tells us that Region 5, we're not supposed to watch the other regions. Well,
no, you have to watch Haylee Bryant. But you also had to watch...
Do not watch that.
Right, you have to watch Haylee Bryant. But another gymnast, obviously, we mentioned on our podcast last time when we were reviewing this particular session, Carly Bowman from Chow's. Bars is beautiful. She actually, I believe, had the second highest bar score of the competition, if I'm not mistaken. I think Andi's is the highest, which we'll get to that in a minute. But I may be wrong on that. I didn't necessarily do, but I do know. I saw Carly's bars. It was the one event that I did happen to see. I saw some scores from Haylee and the scores from a couple of the others come up on the board when we were near the board. I could see it, but I did see Carly's bar routine, and it's just awesome. I mean, she's just phenomenal in her gymnastics. And again, one I said that we needed to watch out for, and she was able to walk away with this Senior A all-around title, 38.625, I believe. Just a huge performance, and congratulations. Hats off to Chow's, Carly, and Region 4 for obviously getting that all-around win. But anything else from the Senior A age group, Kim?
No, not really. They competed well. They meshed as a team. One of my favorite quotes, though, from that day, from that session, other than Delaney Harkness coming off the floor going, "Catherine, I forgot my dance," in her floor routine, was our reference to our group reference. Me and the Senior A's had a nice little conversation because gorgeous Nebraska coach Chris Brooks was standing by the vault.
I'm sure he'd be very happy to hear you say that.
Oh my God, we agreed that he should just take his shirt off and stand there, but safe sport.
When's it coming to our podcast for an interview?
Oh my God, can he come to our podcast?
I can get Chris on our podcast at some point, yes.
I love him. Anyway, so me and another coach who both are married were chatting about how gorgeous he is. And Danny Petrosic from GAR, best quote ever of my life, says, "It's okay that you're married. You can still look. Just because you're on a diet doesn't mean you can't smell the food."
That's actually pretty good. That's pretty funny.
Thank you, Chris Brooks, for providing gorgeousness near the vault during Senior A. It made 8 a.m. much better.
Well, I'm glad there's the important stuff going on over there in the Senior A gym for sure. We'll move on to the Junior Bs, and the Junior Bs had to replace an athlete. Alayna Karl, who was our regional all-around champion, was injured, and Oakland's Nicki Smith got to come in due to injury, and boy, did she have a competition. They began on vault, and the first kid up in the competition, champion USA's Sarah Morrow, wasted no time. She went up first, rocked a vault, beautiful Yurchenko full for a 9.6, and ended up placing 4th on that event. It was a beautiful vault. I know Tammy was thrilled. Sarah was excited about it. And then Nicki Smith, coming into the competition, for Alayna, tied her as well with a 9.6, a big, nice Yurchenko full. The team struggled a bit on bars in their second rotation, but Reese Samuelson from Rockford nailed her jam pack routine. She has, Chapa, she has pack, she has toe blind to pike Jaeger, half on toe on to a double pike, stuck. Beautiful routine for a 7th place finish. In that rotation, I have to say, All-American Flames coach Melinda was mic'd for Coaches Wired. This is going to be probably one of the best Coaches Wired I've ever done. Her excitement, her energy, she was inspiring, not just to her kid, Sage, but to all of the athletes. I know I kept the mic on for a couple times when she was actually coaching and cheering on for some of the other coaches or other athletes. It's an awesome Coaches Wired, and it's one that you'll definitely want to check out when posted. This team finished with a solid performance on balance beam and floor, but just didn't have the firepower to break in the top 3, finishing 5th. Region 3 just squeaked by Region 8 for the win in this age group. Kim, someone in Senior B finally achieved her goal, which she was so close to last year, and we had our first team win of the weekend. Lots of energy in the Senior B session. Absolutely.
I was blessed that I was the one that got to do Senior B because I really
You're welcome.
Thank you. Really wanted to watch this. I did not get to see these kind of group of kids compete last year because I was on the senior side. So it was fun to be able to watch this group, and Andrea Lee, just the gorgeousness that is Andrea Lee. She is amazing. I just can't say enough. But
I still think her bar routine was underscored.
She took the top spot in the all-around 38.85. She last year won every event, but fell on bars and didn't, win the all-around. So we were all holding our breath during her bar routine. I was talking to her mom, Gianni, and she had the same rotation schedule this year as she did last year. And last year she finished on the bars and fell on her release. This year she did not fall on her release. She caught that bar like she's never caught that bar before. However, she did tell her mom that flashbacks of last year came into her head during that part of her bar routine, that her endo was a little slow and her going into that release. So everybody was kind of thinking, oh no, not again. But she held on to that bar, and she not only won the all around, but she also won bars with a 9.8, and she also won floor. So it's finally really great to see her take the top spot. Other notables in that session, Sierra Brooks finished second on vault with a 9.825.
I mean, all of Region 5's vaults were pretty awesome in that. Yeah.
Throughout the age groups, a lot of vaults were awesome, especially this one. All of them went, except for
9.6 or higher.
9.55 and up, except for Suki, who does a hand front, so it's a little undervalued compared to her hand front half, which wasn't a 10.0. It was a 9.9, I believe. She went 9.45, but all these kids had tremendous vault scores, every single one of them. Sierra went second place, 9.825. Aria had 9.675. So every kid really delivered in the vaulting department. They all did pretty well overall throughout all the events. They were a consistent team. I do want to talk about the last event and Hannah Demirs from Splits. She is a first-time JO National qualifier, and her meet was going fabulous until the last event came. Watching her bar routine, up until the very last event, this kid was on fire, just hitting all her routines, all her skills. She's going into that dismount on bars. I'm sitting there with that camera thinking, God, she's finally going to do it. We have a hit meet. I'm so proud of her. And then tragedy strikes, and she peels off the bar on her dismount, flying like a rag doll through the air, landing on her back on the floor. She took out her coach, Kayla, falling to the floor, and ended her first JO Nationals on the floor. It was a very scary fall to watch. She ended up being okay. She had suffered a concussion. Her coach actually came in on crutches the next day. So it was kind of a very interesting event. But all in all, she was fine, and she ended up placing 5th on floor. So she did come away with a medal, but very scary fall.
Well, Region 5 came out on top in this age group by just over 2/10 from Region 1. We did win vault and floor, and as Jason talked about just a minute ago, the level to which their vaulting was obviously was top notch here, winning that particular event in the team standings. Another Region 5 all-around champion was crowned in the Junior C session, but it was tough go for Region 5 here. What were some of the highlights from the Junior C session, Kim?
So the Junior C session was a pretty incredible session. They all had a pretty great meet. We had some 5th place finishes, some 7th, 9th place finishes on some events. Savannah Miller was 7th on the floor, 9th on bars. Avery Ajima was 5th on vault. However, the highlights of this meet, though, was Faith Torres of Legacy Elite. Faith Torres, who this is her 2nd time at JO Nationals.
This was actually Faith's 3rd time competing at JO Nationals. Her first was in 2016.
The first time with Region 5. She is just another one of those kids who's freaking incredible. Like, you cannot take your eyes off her when she is on an event. She won the all-around with 38.525, also picking up national champion titles on uneven bars and balance beam, placing 2nd on the floor and 5th on the vault. Her beam routine was pretty much flawless. I don't think 9.725 did it justice. That should have been a way higher score. She was effortless, didn't wobble. However, I was very, very upset by her vault score. Her vault was incredible. She stuck it cold. Body shape was nice. Block in the air was nice. It was a really great vault. And when Judge 1 and 2 put in 9.75, 9.65, Judge 3 and 4 was 9.55. And so I was looking over that judge's shoulder going, what? Are you sure? Like, really? So I felt by standing there and watching it and seeing what the judges were doing that, and compared to some other vaults that I had seen in that session, 9.575 was not, that vault was highly, highly underscored, and others in our rotation thought so as well. But she finished 5th on the vault. That really did not hinder her ability to win, so she still came out on top despite the vault score.
Well, I know she mentioned that she was surprised that she was actually the bar champion, because that bars has been her biggest struggle over the course of the last years, or a couple years in level 10. But obviously you go to Legacy Elite, and that usually changes very quickly. So.
Okay, I just pulled up the vault just to watch it again. It is on Region 5 Insider's YouTube channel. She does land in a complete piked chest down position. She does pop it up quick, but you have to take off for that.
Okay,
it's pretty in the air, gorgeous, good block, good feet together, but she did land with her chest completely down.
Well, seeing it in fast motion then, like not replaying it.
I watched it in fast motion. I saw it. You need to develop a better eye.
But then that makes sense then if you said she lands with her chest kind of low, why Judge 3 and 4, her sitting at the end, gave 9.55 and Judge 1 and 2. But I didn't like how the judges were in a line and not across from each other. The whole judging setup. Don't get
Okay, so on Avery's vault, I just watched it once.
Yeah.
It was closer to the table, but it didn't, and she had a weird kind of landing, what they might have taken a little bunt. She didn't land with her chest as far down.
Okay. I just thought
she landed well, and then she dropped her chest to kind of like try to stick it, but she didn't actually land piked.
But then in the air though, I felt like Avery's vault was kind of like segmental twisting, like
Well,
loose
you can't
twisting.
take off for that. No, it wasn't loose. It was close to the table. Faith had more distance. Hers popped up a little higher.
Well, and they went like one after another. So like Faith went, then Avery went, and watching them from the side there, I thought Faith was much better than Avery's.
They're similar, kind of. I could see that. I could see why some judges would give it the same, depending on what you were rewarding.
I mean, I think Avery did good as in the all-around. She was the 2nd highest finisher for us. Well, Region 5 ended up finishing 6th in this age group. Their high was a team for the team was on bars, and obviously helped by Faith's national championship there. This age group was won by Region 3, and they totaled 152.325, basically winning or finishing 2nd on each event. A 38.45 vault score, which is pretty impressive there in that group. Moving on over across the gym to our senior Cs. And our senior Cs, as we had mentioned already, were one of the strongest age groups coming in, and they didn't wait too long to prove that. The team started out on bars, and the eventual all-around champion Gabby Wilson went first and scored a 9.7. Absolutely beautiful bar routine to lead. You could tell she was really focused. She was determined from the get-go. The entire competition, the entire warm-ups, everything, Gabby was right on. But her 9.7 topped only by Helen Hu. 9.75 for probably one of the best bar routines of the entire JO national competition. I know we talked about Carly's routine, but Helen's gorgeous ray at regional, at state she missed it. Regionals it was a little tight. This one flowed beautifully. She does absolutely gorgeous Shapash ray half. Beautiful toe full into a stuck double back. And that's an upgrade this year. She has struggled. She used to do just toe on double tuck. She's done a couple different dismounts there, but beautiful toe full, landed right in handstand. I remember one in the warm-ups, it looked like almost it was going over, and she fought and pulled over. I'm like, wow, that's impressive. But then the one in the meet was even better. We will post this routine to show you in the show notes. Region 5 led after bars, outscoring Region 1's vault only about 500ths. But the fact that Region 5's bars were 500ths above their vault, and their vaults were pretty impressive, was quite an accomplishment. We moved over to balance beam, and the girls rock beam. Helen, again, paced the team with another national title, her third in a row, and a 9.775. She's obviously got a lot of interesting gymnastics, the typical, the flip-flop layout, but she does two front aerials. At this meet, she did not aerial scale. She stopped on her second aerial and did not go to scale, which then kind of upset me at first because you didn't get to see her then Y scale that she does, which is really cool because obviously she didn't have her leg behind her to swing through to the Y scale. But they rocked balance beam, and Gabby was funny. She was finally smiling after beam. This has been a struggle for her this year, and she was smiling right after she came back, and she had this to say about that balance beam performance.
Yeah, it told me that smiling releases antioxidants, so I was like, whenever I got nervous, I just smiled, and it just it really helped. It actually helped, and I wasn't shaky. It just felt really calm, and I knew what I had to do, and I wasn't gonna hold back. Like Dave said at our meeting, we've done the work, we've done everything that we've needed to do, and just go out there and perform, and that really helped. That was actually really great advice, and I just wanted to do everything that I could to the best of my ability.
The rest of the age group for us on balance beam, again, solid gymnastics. Maddie hit. Peyton came back. Peyton Murphy has struggled a little bit on bars, really only struggled on bars with a 9.025, I believe. Struggled a little bit with her bail and her dismount. Came up with an absolutely gorgeous balance beam routine, rock solid. And did a good job for us on that. Actually, her score counted. But overall, this group was very solid coming off of the first event into balance beam, heading over to floor. And on floor, we have some of the most powerful tumbling in this group, with obviously Gabby Wilson. Gabby changed her routine this year. She has an absolutely gorgeous double layout, but has been using a full in. Perfect full in, solid landing on it. I think the only thing she had was a little bit of a scoot on her double pike, but that was, obviously power coming off in that floor. And that floor in the senior gym was a little bit more, I felt, bouncier than the floor in the junior A side, at least the flight A side. I'm not sure, Jason. I know Anna competed on that floor as well. I'm not sure what she felt about it, but it just looked a little bit more bouncy than the other one did.
Her tumbling was probably a foot higher than normal. It was super high.
Yeah, that floor was big. So yeah, we saw a lot. I know Peyton overdid her double pike a little bit, bounced out of it instead of the nice solid landing she had at regionals. But again, good floor routines across the board. Big tumbling. Mention Linda Zavit from Phenom was in this session representing Region 2. She had some 2 top 10 finishes on vault. She went 9.675 for that nice souk full, her second vault, the best of the two, nailing the landing. And then her double layout on floor obviously rivals no one. I mean, it's a beautiful double layout. she went 9.5. I thought maybe just a little bit underscored on floor for 9th in that age group, but definitely a pretty good performance for her in her first JO Nationals, and obviously not even representing Region 5 at the helping Region 2 with their team scores. But overall, in this age group, we looked into the last event, going into vault, another strong event for this particular age group. And Helen Hu was actually in a heated battle with Gabby for the all-around title. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, was leading by a little bit going into that last event. And I was like, oh, well, that's sad. She's done a great meet, but she does a layout Yurchenko on vault. Oh, no, not this weekend. I unfortunately did not see her train because I was in the other gym, the junior gym with Cassie. I did not know that she trained a Yurchenko full, and Irina, her coach, came up to me and says, Jason, we're going to go for the full at this meet. I'm like, awesome, because I know she's trained it, she's been working it. That's awesome, but, first time full, what have you, okay, up against Gabby's Yurchenko 1.5, let's settle for second. That vault, her Yurchenko full, was huge. For someone who competed a vault for the first time in a competition, the very first time she ever did it, huge. Landing chest up, absolutely beautiful form, lift. It wasn't a pikey, it wasn't a rushed, it was a beautiful vault. And she came up with a 9.675, which I'm not sure, maybe level 9 was the last time Helen saw a score that big on vault. But of course, when you go up against a 9.85 Yurchenko 1.5, it's going to be tough to stay in the running. But Region 5 went 1, 2, 3 in this age group. Gabby Wilson first, 38.90 in the all-around, almost a 39. Helen Hu, 38.875. And then last year national champion Maddie Rydel from Olympia, a 38.5 to round out the top 3 for Region 5. And of course, we won this age group by 1.375, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was over 1.3, and that was due to the debacle a little bit on floor from Region 1. They struggled with some landings and came up with only a 37.95 in that last rotation, giving us the win by 1.375, as I had mentioned. So awesome job, great performance, and it was fun to be in that group. And I know it's always exciting when you coach an athlete at JO Nationals, so that was fun being there on the floor with Peyton, but also just to watch this group mesh and just do a fantastic job. Awesome gymnastics. Congratulations to them.
Energym music is floor music that rocks. This is our 15th season. Did you know all our music is legal and licensed? That means we don't cut music, we create music. At Energym Music, we are dedicated to great customer service and creating floor music that rocks. Thanks for 15 great years.
It's Energym's 15th season, and they are excited to offer a 15% discount for all our Region 5 listeners. Go to energymmusic.com. That's ENERGYMMUSIC.com and use R5 Insider 15 at checkout. That's R5 Insider 15 for 15% off your floor music for the 2019 season. Energym Music is floor music that rocks. Well, we kicked off day 2 with our Ds, junior and senior Ds, and as we had mentioned in our podcast, this was the session that we kind of looked to kind of jump in our standing up in the super team competition. We felt that we could win both these age groups, and that basically came forth. We'll start with the Junior Ds. The Junior Ds, this group was awesome. This group was so much fun. They are energized. They did a lot of cheering. How can you not be excited when you have a gymnast like Ella Cesario, who is just, she's crazy. She's awesome. She's funny. She just keeps you in the moment, as well as Skyla Schulte from Phenom, another one that just has energy. This team began on balance beam, and they went 7 for 7. They nailed every beam set solid. There was very few wobbles, a few big steps on dismounts, but very, very little deduction in the routine in the actual routines. awesome job. I know they were excited. They were doing cheers about it. We took a picture. We took a video that they were all excited about it. And just, an awesome job to start off of the session. They were the champion on balance beam leading off the first rotation. They won balance beam as a team. So, obviously a great performance for them. They also dominated every event in the competition also, but just the fact that they started off on balance beam and won that event, it was really exciting. In terms of gymnastics as a whole, we were in a running for top 3 in the all-around coming into the last rotation. Floor and vault went well. As I had mentioned, they were the champions as a team in those particular events. However, on bars, unfortunately, Skyla missed her Hindorf, which is actually a beautiful Hindorf, and it's an awesome skill because a lot of people do raise a little bit easier. Clear hip to a Tkachev, not easy at all. She had struggled with it in warm-ups, had some problems catching. She caught 1 or 2 and then missed a few, but it was a little too far away. That dropped her in the standings, where she was battling for the all-around title. But Ella Cesario nailed all 4 events, came up with a huge vault of 9.7, finished off with at 9.575 on bars to finish second in the all-around with a 38.35. Tori Vetter from Universal Gymnasts finished 6th in the all-around. She, as most people know, was the junior champion at Nastia Cup this year. She had a fantastic, consistent competition. Balance beam actually was her top finish in 7th. Beautiful balance beam routine for her. But she totaled a 38.025, so broke that 38 mark and finished in the top 10 in the all-around. I have to mention about Katia Sander because it's Katia Sander. I always say her name wrong. She knows that, and I said it there, and I said, I always say your name wrong. She says that's fine. But I try to say it right. Katia Sander, she had an absolute... Sorry, I said it wrong again. Katia. I don't know why I think of that. But anyway, she had an absolutely gorgeous bar routine. Absolutely beautiful. 9.6, I believe, she finished with, tie for 3rd in that meet. Beautiful lines, gorgeous. She struggled a little bit in warm-ups. Her warm-ups weren't the best. She definitely probably had a little bit of nerves going in there, but when she raised that hand to the judge and went up, rocked a set that was absolutely beautiful, and I know that Enrique was excited about that particular routine. But Maddie Snook looked good from Legacy Elite. She was consistent all day long. So JC Vor, same idea, just consistent, just not high, low anywhere, just pretty much, go in the flow. This team meshed very well. Elaine McGovern from Legacy, her first JO National Championships, she handled herself a 9.5 on balance beam. It was a beautiful routine for her. Bars, she hit in her last event, 9.3. She went last up for us on bars. Had to sit and wait. Obviously, that can be difficult. But she went through and struggled a little bit on floor. I know she stepped out of bounds a little bit on her double Arabian. Was a little bit low for her in terms of score. But great performance in her first JO Nationals. And overall, again, this team won the team title, giving us our 3rd team title of the weekend. And definitely was a great competition, and I enjoyed being with them throughout the time in that competition. Kim, how about over in the Senior D gym?
The Senior D age group is another one of those powerhouse, jam-packed age groups. This group has been together most of these kids have been together a long time. They all know each other. They all mesh well together. This is the age group that is the SEC age group, that half of them are going to SEC schools. The age group consists of 6 juniors and 1 senior. So Leah Clapper was the only senior competing in this age group, and she had a really great meet, has some problems, but she got to finish out the meet, her last JO meet on the floor, which is one of her favorite events. She got to finish on that event, and she got to go last. So I thought that was pretty special. That's why I wanted to talk about it first, to be the senior finishing on your favorite event up last to close out the meet. She ended up with an eighth place finish on the event and 9th overall. So it was a pretty good meet for her, a little emotional for the coaches, and then of course herself and her friends, because she was the only senior in this group, but had a good run, and she will be heading to Florida in the fall, so we'll get to see her beautiful gymnastics there. Others in this group were Rachel Dukavich from Gym World. She finished second on the floor, had a great floor routine. She is one of those athletes that we did a coaches wired with on the uneven bars, so look for that eventually. She had a great bar routine. Lauren Beckwith from Buckeye, she was second on the balance beam, and I really like her. She has a great beam routine, very clean, has great floor. She's a great all-around athlete, but her top placing was 6th on beam this weekend. Jory Jackard from Twist Stars, she kind of struggled a little bit in the meet. Wasn't maybe her best showing, but she ended up closing the competition with a very nice floor routine. She has effortless dance and nice tumbling, so she ended up with a 10th place finish on the floor. I want to go into our top 3 finishers here in this age group. These 3 actually have been together for a while, competed their very first JO Nationals in the same age group, I believe Makarri had said. So they really know each other. Peyton Richards, who finished 4th all around, she actually says that she didn't have a good meet. And, so some events, she had some errors on some events. It wasn't actually really up to the Peyton Richards standards, but she still took a 3rd place finish on the floor and a 4th place finish on the bars. She struggled on beam a little bit. Still a great routine, but a little struggle finishing 9th, but 4th place overall. So she did have a good meet, went 38.425. Kai Rivers, who struggled at states and regionals, put it together here at nationals like I knew she would, and she ended up finishing 3rd in the all-around with 38.425, and 3rd on the floor, 3rd on the bars, and 4th on vault. She went 9.8 on vault with a beautiful laid out full. And then Makarri.
Yeah, Makarri.
Makarri. Really? Makarri. So, speechless.
I mean,
I'm just,
she swept everything, which is that the first time it's ever happened?
No, it's the second. Makarri becomes the second to ever sweep JO Nationals. The first was back in 2009 in Seattle in JO Nationals when Phenom's Keely Kamichik did it. And I know that that Jess actually came up to Makarri after the competition and had told her that she had done what she had done and be the second person ever to do it. It was definitely something that hasn't been done very often, only twice. And it was exciting, and this is what Makarri had to say about it.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting this. I just wanted to go out there and have fun with my team. I wasn't trying to win or anything. I was just trying to have a good time. And I honestly had no idea that was a thing until Phenom's coach told me like 2 minutes ago, so I feel honored. I had no idea, so I'm so blessed.
Overall, obviously, Makarri was the highlight, the standout of this competition. But as you mentioned, I was glad to see Kai Rivers, come back and really, push to have a meet to finish off her JO season, which has been a little bit of an up and down season for Kai, on the note she did. And I got to see her bar routine because we were on floor in the junior gym at the same time they were on bars, and it was an awesome routine. I mean, obviously Makarri did a little bit better, but Kai was the national bar champion last year. Same type of quality routine this year. So congratulations to this particular team. Another team championship. Again, like we said, we won both of the Ds, and they won by just over 0.4 of a point. So definitely to the strong Region 8 team in that particular session. A 39.1 on vault for that Region 8 team. So definitely a strong competition, strong competitors in that age group as well. Congratulations again to Region 5.
I definitely want to quickly, though, shout out to alternate Natalie Hamp of Twistars. She was by far a great alternate, and she actually took some video for me on my phone, so I didn't have to multitask. So I just want to shout out to her because she was a great help in that aspect. She just jumped in and said, "Hey, you want me to do that?" And it was great. She was a great kid to have around. So she definitely did her alternate duties other than being prepared to go in.
Well, congratulations. Thank you, Natalie, for helping out. And it was sad that the nation did not get to see her bar routine, because her bar routine is phenomenal. Her ray is huge, and she's got such quality bar work. It's sad that we didn't get to see that. Hopefully next year. Move on to the 5th of 6 age groups, and this is where the E's come in. This is where we will begin our senior talk, obviously, but in terms of last performances for Region 5. But before we do that, we have the junior E's, and this group, a stacked group of kids, and another team championship here, Kim.
Junior E's, they were fantastic. This group, as you just said, is another one of those stacked age groups. They also are a very fun age group. They were enjoying their time on the floor. You really didn't feel like you were at JO Nationals with this age group. They weren't, having any stress, any pressure. They just went out there and were doing their gymnastics fabulously. Our highest all-around finisher in this group was Mackenzie Sedlick of IGI, finishing second with a 38.175. She also picked up second on vault and 7th on floor. She actually, this is her first JO Nationals. She was an elite for a little bit. She was going along that track. So this is the first time we've really seen her as a level 10 at JO Nationals. I love her. She has a great floor routine. So if you have not seen her floor routine, go and watch it. It's on our YouTube. Her dance and her music, it just all goes together. I love it. Our next finisher was Haley Tyson of Phenom. She's finished 4th in the all-around, but she did claim the floor exercise title with a 9.6. So her routine was very good, nice landings, good tumbling, really showed off that routine. Hannah Oliveris followed with a 5th place all-around finish and a 2nd place finish on the beam and 3rd place on bars. Followed again by Erica Penamente from Legacy Elite, finishing 7th in the all-around. She claimed the balance beam title with another flawless beam routine from Legacy Elite. She had a great routine. Those Legacy girls definitely know how to do beam and bars for sure. Amelia Knotts, who is a first-time JO National qualifier from GTC, she finished 9th on the vault with a huge Yurchenko full. 9.6. Ella Chamati, who's also in her first JO Nationals, picked up an 8th place beam finish, and beam is really that kid's event. She's very good at beam, so I was glad to see her medal there. Caitlin Grimes from Big, she recorded a 4th place floor finish, and this group actually placed first as a team, which was incredible. They were very relaxed the whole time. I do want to talk about, though, quickly is the vault. So a lot of these junior age groups they all had, like, some had fulls, some had just layout Yurchenko. This group impressed me because this entire group had layout full Yurchenkos. Every kid did a full, and all of them were very impressive. They were another group that just hit vaults in a big way, kind of like the seniors. So I was impressed that every single kid had a full twisting Yurchenko vault. In this age group, though, we also did have three kids, who were competing for other regions. Riley Milbrandt from Legacy Elite, she was competing in Region 2, and she finished actually 8th on bars. And then we had Gabby Stevens, who was representing Region 2. She is from Midwest Elite, and she had a nice meet. She hit her events, had a very nice vault, full twisting Yurchenko. And then we had representing Region 6 was Naomi German from GTC. She too had nice floor, consistent meet. So we did have a couple kids that were on the floor but competing for the other region. So the teammates were still supporting them and making sure they were included. This is another age group that we did a Coaches Wired. We did Coaches Wired with Kat from IGI. So look for that with her 2 IGI kids. So look for that coming up soon.
This group was similar to Makarri and a couple of the other age groups in that they won every single event as a team. The level of gymnastics and ability in this particular group, just, as we mentioned, I think earlier on the podcast, on the first podcast, just the balance between grace and power in this group was there, and I think that this particular one stood out for me, and great job on a great competition and a dominating competition for you this year. We move over to the senior E's, and I was in this gym, but Jason, I think you can attest to a lot of this. I mean, this is your kids' age group, a group of kids that have been part of Region 5 for a very long time, have represented this region for a very long time, and went out to represent them one more time. We did have an injury, unfortunately, in this group, which is sad for injury to Anna Higgis from Queen City. She had to be on the first event, warm-up period. She had to be pulled out, and Z from Gymnastics came in, who did a phenomenal job, by the way, replacing her. But Jason, can you just talk a little bit about kind of your feelings on the session and kind of what you felt about the whole performance from our region kids?
So I felt like they started out pretty strong on floor. I mean, they little landing issues from the majority of us. And then we went to vault and a lot of strong vaults. We didn't have any bonus vaults, but a lot of really nice full twisting Yurchenkos. But then we went to bars, and bars was a little bit of a struggle. We struggled there, but then rallied after struggling on bars. And I believe everyone nailed their beam routine there at the end. So that was nice to see that they were acted as the veterans that they are, and that it didn't matter that they struggled on bars. They were still going to go and do their best on the next event.
Well, you mentioned a struggle on bars, and actually I think, if I'm not mistaken, Z was one of the last competitors because she fit right into Anna's position, and if I'm not mistaken, she competed last or second to last, and she went up and hit her bar routine, and I know that Ron was excited and she was excited. It wasn't a huge bar score, but it definitely was a kind of morale pumper that, be able to go out there and hit a routine, and she was excited about that routine, and so I definitely wanted to touch on that she under struggle came out and did a great job overall. I thought this group meshed well. I mean, they were excited. Sarah was looked great, as she always does. Finished third. Her top spot was third on bars. It was actually a beautiful bar routine. A nice ray. I love her stalder to pack that she does. And she definitely led this group. She finished 7th all around with over a 38.15. I know that Nebraska is going to be happy to have her coming on the team for next year. Anna finishing up in her last JO Nationals with probably a little bit of, let's just say, a setback. Not necessarily a difficult setback per se, but she hurt herself in warm-ups or in the training day on bars. And Jason, can you kind of give us some background on that?
So Anna's always been a really tough kid, especially in a competition setting. But she also is one that knows her limits and her body really well. And so she, on a Tkachev during training, she caught it. And I believe she thought that she had it and held on and then kind of pinged off the bar. So she wasn't really expecting to fall. And she put it, the infamous putting your hands down to break yourself from a fall, and hyperextended one of her elbows. When it first happened, she wasn't able to even straighten it. But adrenaline was still there. So we saw the trainer, deduced that it was nothing more than, a bad hyperextension, but hyperextended elbow is way different than a hyperextended knee. And so then she taped up and did limited. She did, I think, 2 flight series on beam, and then obviously didn't use the hands for the rest. Was able to do 1 of each pass on floor during training and did a layout for vault. But it was still hurting. We PT'd it the next day. So bars, when she was trying to compete, she was able to upgrade her vault. Despite this, she nailed floor, a beautiful floor routine, nailed, beam, got second. But on bars, the only skill that she couldn't really muscle through was her blind half or full twisting giant. And it's just because you have to post on one arm, and she literally couldn't push. But she fought through it, and it wasn't pretty, but she still in theory, made her bar routine with some form deductions on the blindfold and losing bonus for not connecting to the double flyway. But she's an impressive kid. And it was one of those like, Anna, what do you mean? Like, I'm competing. Like, this is not, I'm doing this. But a testament to her grit and character for sure.
Yeah, you watched the routine. She started out beautifully. I mean, Tkachev was nice. Bail hand was nice. You know, everything looked good. And you're like, oh, yeah, she's going to do it. And, you know, got down to that blindfold. I know she struggled a little bit in warm-ups, too, with that, but was able to, you know, kind of muster it through. Unfortunately, in the meet, I think your arm was just, you know, maybe a little tired, gave out a little bit, and it was difficult. But she came back on balance beam. Beautiful balance beam routine. Last event, last meet, last routine of her JO career. With that second place tie of 9.625. So that's...
we kind of made a joke, little Kentucky humor, that she has the trifecta in national beam titles because she got first her first year, and then third her second year, and then now her fourth year, second. Win, play, show.
She's done them all. Gallant effort, I mean, awesome effort from these particular kids in their final JO National Championships. However, they did finish 6th as a team. Region 1 looked very impressive. I don't know how much you saw, but me filming the age group, not coaching in the age group, I got to watch a little bit. Their vaults were stunning, 38.825. Awesome job there. Bars, I saw a few of their bar routines. And overall, all 38s. Across the board, 153.975. It was definitely a strong performance there from that team. But good luck to all these kids as they will move on, leave Region 5, become Region 5 alums, and head off to their universities in the fall, representing Region 5 for the next 4 years at the collegiate level. And we wish them luck. Moving over to the final session of the JO Championships is the sessions with the junior and senior Fs. And in the junior F age group, just prior to JO National starting, 2 days before, veteran, JO National veteran, 4-year qualifier and competitor, Gianna Gerdes from Gym Extreme had to pull out due to a foot issue. This group was... an exciting group in the sense where they really get along. They really know each other well. They're very similar in ways in how they do gymnastics, as well as just the way they are and their personalities. I do have a little bit of pride in this particular age group because many people can necessarily say this. Now it's a group effort. All of us at Palmer's have a 100% are involved with this particular athlete's training. But Cassie Barbonente from Palmer's, my athlete, was 4th in the all-around, making her first, and my first as a coach. I believe it's Palmer's first as a whole JO national team. Difficult to obviously maintain the level in these 5 weeks. She had an awesome competition. Started off with a great floor routine, a big vault, a huge bar routine that got a huge roar for 9.65, which ended up being second after the next rotation. A kid beat her with a 9.675. She nailed a double layout.
No, I'm just like, that always happens.
Yes, it always is that way. You think you're going to get a national champion, then, oh, so close, but great performance. And then struggled a little bit on balance beam and warm-ups. Fell in, I think, almost everything, once at least, and went up and rocked her beam set for a 9.5. So, she was able to, come out with a 38.15, which, by the way, is her first 38 in her entire gymnastics career, every level. And what to do that at JO Nationals, that's quite a feat. But congratulations to Cassie, as she is the junior national team member.
I do have to say, we hear her bar, the crowd applause and screaming after her stuck bar routine. You could hear that all the way on the other side of the floor. They really erupted after she nailed that routine. It was incredible.
Well, we definitely had a pretty good competition. This group is a group that has all fulls as well, and did a good job on vault. We had one fall from Jillian on floor from perfection. She did double pike and literally bounced off the floor and rolled out of bounds, and then struggled on her last pass. She did a front layout. I think she's supposed to do front layout front full, and she did a front layout front tuck. So she obviously had a deduction there too, not ending with a C. But besides that, every other event was solid. I think we, in terms of competition, until we hit balance beam, bars, Jillian did a huge bar set for us. But Beam was a little bit of a struggle. We actually only, I think, we had 4 hit routines, but we had a few falls. Some other notable finishes in our junior F age group. Avery Ballister from Buckeye, who tied Cassie Barbonente on bars at regionals for the regional title, finished 5th on bars with a 9.625. Jillian Roots from Perfection finished 6th on bars with a 9.575. And Adriana Bustello from Cincinnati finished 8th on floor with a 9.55. And a shout out to Isabel West from Buffalo Grove, her first JO Nationals. She represented Region 2, but she was 2nd on vault with a huge 9.7 and was 6th on balance beam with a 9.55. So congrats to her for helping out, obviously, Region 2, but having a great competition herself individually at her first JO National Championships. I think we underestimated the level of the other age group regions in this age group because it was a solid, outstanding competition. And Region 1 ended up taking that title with a 153.225. Region 5 had a 152.55 for 4th, so we were 4th in that age group. Actually, we're 2nd on bars. It was an awesome bar rotation for this particular age group. But congratulations to our junior Fs and awesome competition. How about over in the senior gym for the senior Fs?
The senior Fs, their last hurrah, their last competition before heading off to college. So they really were focusing on last one, best one. And that's pretty much what they said before every event. And they reminded themselves that, this is the last one. So let's go out hitting and doing the best we can. And that is what they did. They had a few mistakes, had a few not hit routines, but they all did what they could. Our highest finisher though was Nicole Bears from Crystal Lake. She finished 8th on the floor. So not a lot of medals coming out of this age group, but they did cap off their JO careers in a good way together, having a great time. Just some notables though, Bridget Killian from Legacy Elite. Her floor routine was fantastic. She does the highest and cleanest triple full I have ever seen. She just kind of hangs it up in the air, cleans the rafters, and then comes down and sticks her landing. So that was a huge highlight for that event. All of them had, nice vaults.
They actually finished 3rd on vault. That was their highest finish as a team too. So
Nicole Borowski from New Heights had a nice clean vault. She had a good meet. Ashley Hofflich from Oakland, she had a nice meet. Great. She's a good, clean lines, beautiful dance on the events, nice strong bars. Caitlin Higgins. I want to talk about Caitlin Higgins for a minute. She is from Gymnastics Academy of Rockford. Had a great meet going. Nice bars, went to beam. Nice beam routine, hit routine, until she dismounted. She dismounted, and everybody realized that her big toe was just bleeding profusely. She had stepped on her toe after her front tuck. She had landed on her big toe, which I guess happens every so often to her. Big toenail broke. Had to go to the trainer, get it cleaned up, ripped off. We do have pictures of that toenail. Bled all down the beam, and then still had to go and compete floor and vault, which, to have your toe hurting, are not the events that you really want to go and do next. So props to this kid for getting it together. She could barely walk over to the floor from the beam area. Jake kind of carried her a little bit and carried her stuff. And when she got over to floor, all she could, she kept saying to herself, I have to do this. I have to do it. And she did. She warmed up her floor. She kept running back and forth on that foot to make sure that she could do it. And she had a nice floor routine. It bothered her. She couldn't really point it, but she came off the floor to lots of cheers and hugs and high fives. And Jake talked with us a little bit about her toes, kind of making fun of it after beam.
A toenail? Looks like we're going to have to call a tow truck.
It they were really good and humorful about it. But then she went to vault and hit her vault, and then had to get piggybacked off to the trainer once again for the toe. But props to her for finishing the meet and, you know, going out on a solid note and not giving up, you know, when her toenail fell apart.
But I know from the talk of some of the other coaches, and I know you, Kim, had mentioned it, Region 7 won this age group and just looked phenomenal. They looked awesome. You know, high scores, high 38s, 39 on vault in this age group. They took the team title. Region 5 finished 6th, but as I mentioned, had finished in the top 3 on vault. So props to their vaults, and just, you know, doing a job. I mean, just going out there and doing the best job they could, representing Region 5 in their final competition, obviously, before they head on to their college careers. And congrats to them and all the coaches, you know, being able to coach their athletes one last time at JO Nationals. Quickly, we're going to talk just a little bit about a few of the issues that may have happened at JO Nationals. One of them is the super team error in scoring. And at the award ceremony, we had already realized or figured out that Region 5 had tied for second place. So the last 3 years we have been third, so tie for second, definitely an improvement in that sense. And Region 1 had won. No questions on. They had the best meet. Region 1, awesome job. In most every age group they competed were in the top 3 as a team. They had 73 points, way above everybody else, not going to be touched. Well, we figured our points out to be 66 points, and that's what also Region 3 had. However, when they announced the results, they announced Region 5 as third, Region 8 as second, and Region 1 first. Well, Region 8 had 65 points, 1 point below. We actually tied Region 3 with 66. We are trying to figure out that discrepancy, and hopefully that will be corrected and posted.
Do you think they didn't correct it because they have some kind of tie-breaking rule?
Well, they may have a tie-breaking rule, and if that's the case, however, tie-breaking rule would then make us still third, even though the tie-breaking rule wouldn't have affected these particular results per se. Maybe we would have been third, but Region 8 was fourth. That's the problem. Region 8 had 65 points. We tied Region 3 with 66. So if they had broken the tie, we could have still been third, but then Region 3 should have been second. Region 8 was not in the top 3 based on their score points. They were 1 point out. So again, congratulations to Region 1. Awesome job. Congratulations to our Region 5 athletes. They did the job. They tried. You know, we won 5 age groups, more than anybody else in the country this year, and they just did an awesome job. Joshua Tree Skincare is cultivated by athletes for athletes. Organic and all-natural products for your time in the gym. The Gymnasalve keeps your hands tough and conditioned without losing calluses. It repairs rips and tears quicker. Joshua Tree is a product I wish was around when I was competing. Our athletes at Palmer's Gymnastics and many around the region use it regularly to keep their hands bar ready. If you want to get your hands on this product or interested in selling it at your gym, please go to region5gymnasticsinsider.com/JTree Gymnastics Balm or email us at region5insider@gmail.com and put J-Tree Gym Balm in the subject line. Joshua Tree Gym Balm. It heals like a rest day. A few of the judging type things that we noticed, and I know Kim, you had mentioned it. I noticed a difference in terms of where judges were on the floor from the junior A flight A to the senior flight A, but I didn't realize that actually the junior A floor was the only one that was different. Possibly a problem, and we'll get to in a second. Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, so the judges were set up quite awkwardly. I didn't really like how they were set up on the vault all on one side. I really thought that wasn't a right way to be doing.
Well, no, especially with vault, because you can see different form deductions depending on what side of the vault table you're on.
Absolutely. And they had said, there wasn't enough room to put them on both sides. However, I really thought, looking at the setup of the venue, that there was enough room and that they should have just pushed the bleachers back a little bit more, because I think it's a little more important to have judges on both sides to adequately judge than, to have those bleachers right up to that fence. It's a little more important, I guess, to have the judging than, the bleachers on top of the fence. Another one that really stuck out to me was the floor and how they had the floor set up. Normally they have one judge on each side, but this time they had on one side they had two judges and then one judge music table, which that is fine if you're going to be consistent around the gym. The junior side, the junior flight A floor was not set up the same configuration as the flight B floor, which I have a problem with. So the flight B floor was two judges, one judge, music. The flight A floor was two judges, music. So not even the same configuration between the A flight and the B flight. So you're definitely getting you're not getting the same around the floor judging, that it's inconsistent between the two flights.
And on an event like floor, it's important that it be the same because you do see the feet being apart and things like that in a totally different way from a different point of view.
Absolutely, and that was not happening because they weren't set up the same.
And looking at the results, I did a little bit of analysis. Now, it's not 100% it fit every single age group, but for the most, Region 1, Region 5, Region 7, and Region 8 in the junior age groups were on the A flight equipment. And almost all of the floor national champions in the junior categories were from Flight A. So I don't know if that added or affected the floor results.
I would argue it would be different. It would be the advantage would be the Flight B.
Well, in terms of, no, depending on if you have judges on one side and the other, and in the senior gym they were around the floor a little more, so you got to see more.
Right.
So I would think the advantage would be the Flight A group because they could literally turn themselves into an angle, maybe miss a split leap or miss some type of dance element because there's no judge on that particular one side. Where on the other one there was judges on all sides, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's just me. I just think I know we try to put the kid, if their switch leap's not perfect 180, you put them so the judge can't necessarily see that.
If you're a level 10 without a...
Well, no, you should. You're right. But there may be something, right, there may be something, a landing, something, who knows? I mean, I don't know if that actually made a factor. It just is funny that most of the champions came from Region 1, 5, 7, and 8. And now, granted, they're good regions. Obviously, Region 1 won, so it's not a huge surprise. But just to show that they had all the champions on floor and they were all judged in the same configuration. Maybe not. Maybe we're making something of nothing, but definitely a difference. Right, definitely a difference in floor judging, and it's weird that only one had that versus the other three. But I do agree with Vault. I think Vault judging at the board is a lot different than judging back at the landing. And being on one side versus the other side, some people see, and I think just balancing it out, I think the bleachers could have been pushed back. There was enough space back behind the bleachers for people to walk and the vendors to be there. They could have pushed that back and had another space on Vault, and they certainly could have done that on the other side too. There was room to put the judges in a little bit more. So, but again, it is judging. I felt that the judging on the senior side was a little bit higher than the junior side.
I think it depended on the event. I don't feel like all of them, like Vault, of course, did, but I think that's mainly because they're more powerful athletes. They're older.
Yes, and they had more 10+1 vaults than the juniors did.
I did notice a lot of juniors on floor. A lot of the floor champions, they had a lot of difficulty, and they weren't really being deducted for poor landing shapes. And like I think was the junior A or the junior B floor champion had some landing errors, but she had 3 double backs in her routine, and some bobbles on dance, and still went like 9.7 or something, or 9.65 and won. And I don't feel like they're being much more picky with the seniors.
Right. No, I definitely agree with that. I noticed maybe some of the scores a little bit being in both gyms. Seemed maybe to me just a little bit higher in the senior age groups. That was a great competition of what I saw from the other regions. Strong gymnastics. We are a very strong country. The fact that our juniors are this good, or our young junior Olympic athletes, I should say, are this good, and the quality of gymnastics is definitely there.
They have better vaults than China.
That's true. And I saw a couple cool mounts, a couple front-ons on beam this weekend. I saw some nice ones. A kid nailed every front-on in warm-ups. I think she was from Region 8, I believe. Nailed every single one in warm-up, and unfortunately wobbled, had a big pike and bent at the hips in the competition. But definitely, good quality gymnastics. And is there any standouts? Maybe a standout from each of you that you guys maybe saw or thought from JO Nationals?
For me, really, the standout moments were being able to watch the Region 7 seniors. I was completely blown away by Region 7 watching them in the senior F age group. They just were fantastic, especially on vault. And to watch Rachel Lucas was incredible. She is just amazing. Also, some other just standouts, besides certain kids, the Makarris, the Gabby. Another standout for me was how these kids persevered over any kind of obstacles that they had all weekend with, kids scratching or injuries or anything. They really came together as teams, and the kids that, did get injured, who couldn't compete, still, were there cheering on their teammates, or, the kids that got injured mid-meet and still competed.
And even the coach, I know Queen City's kid was out on that first event. He stayed and coached and did more bar sets than the actual coaches had kids competing bars.
But it was incredible to watch. It's always incredible to watch how these coaches, athletes, everyone comes together. And watching bar changes, that is another favorite thing of mine to watch with Region 5, is to watch the coaches change the bars. Because
don't move the spreader. Don't move the spreader.
I love it because everyone knows pretty much everyone's bar setting, or they're telling each other quickly beforehand, so they're prepared. But the greatest and funniest thing to do is when the bar routine is done, is to watch as the Region 5 coaches just swarm the bars, and it's doom, 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 bam. It's amazing. I'm just amazed by our collectiveness.
It's fun, actually. I enjoy that part. I always enjoy doing bar settings. It can be stressful sometimes, but it's fun, and I think we should have a competition at High Tech High Performance Camp. Do a pit crew competition. Have certain bar settings you have to set really, really small, like the FIG setting. You have to set it super wide. You got to do some changes. You got to do the phenom change. You got to do all kinds of just fun different changes and see who can do it the fastest. I think that'd be a good time.
I don't think that's fun at all.
But overall, from my perspective, obviously Cassie's performance, being her personal coach, is definitely a standout. I will always remember this JO Nationals for that aspect. But I have to say Helen Hu. And the reason why I say Helen Hu is because I've watched this kid from she was really little. She was great in compulsories, awesome in compulsories. When she started getting to the optional levels, vault and floor were a struggle. Bars and beam have always been good, but vault and floor have always been a struggle, just because obviously the more the flexible kid you are, obviously you tend to be a little bit slower, and so it's harder to put those big vaults and tumbling passes. But the kid is awesome and fun to watch. I know everyone loves watching her and her do gymnastics, and just what she did on the floor at this JO Nationals and how well she just performed all of her routines. Hats off to Missouri, University of Missouri, where she's going, because Shannon, you're getting a top-notch kid, and now that she has 4 events, she has a vault that's a 10, well, it's 995 in college, but that she can do well. It's just great, and she looks awesome. So congrats to Irina and everyone at IK for what you're doing with her, because it's just fantastic. And then just Region 5 in general. Every year it's always exciting. The cheers, thank you Brett, the sticks. It makes it fun. It's not just about a competition, and I know that Faith in her interview said, I didn't even feel like I was competing. It was so much fun. The teams get behind it, they get excited, and it makes it a fun atmosphere. It's not like an invitational where you go, you compete, there may be some cheering, your teams may cheer for each other. It's a total team, family orientation. Same thing with the bar settings, the coaches, the athletes, they all work together, and it's just so much fun. Well, so that wraps up the 2018 season here in Region 5. And obviously when the season comes to an end, a team is determined. That it is the combined score of regionals and nationals. You take those two scores together, add them together, take that score, and if you are in the top 12 with seniors in high school, seniors pulled out of the rankings, if you're in the top 12, you make the Region 5 All-Star team. And I'm proud to announce that our Region 5 All-Star team for 2018, who will be heading to Jamaica this year, is an all-star trip where we do our exchange, and we will work with some club or program or what have you in Jamaica and try to help out their younger athletes and develop their program. So first was Andrea Lee with a 77.725. Second, Faith Torres from Legacy Elite, 77.2. Number 3 was Sierra Brooks from Aspire, 77.075. Gabby Wilson was 4th from Olympia, 76.775. Maddie Logora, 5th from Olympia, 76.775. They actually tied. Makarri Doggette, with her huge performance, jumped up the rankings to a 76.75. She actually did that again last year as well. Moved into the All-Star team after her nationals performance. For the first time, Helen Hu from IK will make the All-Star team for a 76.525. 8th was Peyton Richards of Aerial, 76.475. The Junior Nastia Cup champion makes her first All-Star team, and 9th for Tori Vetter, Universal, 76.35. As we talked about, Mackenzie Seselik from IGI is competing in JO. She makes her first All-Star team at 76.15. Aria Bruch will participate in her first All-Star team because she did not participate in camp last season due to the fact that she was an elite at that time. This year, she went through all the camp system and finished 11th in the standings from Cincinnati with a 76.125. And then rounding out the top 12 is, for her third All-Star trip, is Ella Cesario from Legacy Elite, a 76.125. Notable alternates with their performance, Skyla Schulte from Phenom. Unfortunately, I think her bar fall kept her from this team, 76.025. Actually, I know it did. Haley Tyson, 76.0. She was in that alternate spot again last year. Jacavia Henderson, who was an All-Star for us last year, fell on beam, if I'm not mistaken, and had finished 15th with a 75.925, which I did not mention in the thing, but her full in was absolutely enormous. It's new for her, and that was one of the best full ins I've ever seen. Shout out to that. And then 16th was Erica Penamente from Legacy Elite with a 75.9. Congratulations to all the athletes that made the team and all your coaches, and I'm sure that you'll have a fantastic time in Jamaica, representing Region 5 and helping out the world in this great sport. So congratulations again. And congrats again to all our 2018 Region 5 Dream Team, Level 9 and 10 athletes and coaches on a great 2018 season and finishing up strong at Easterns and JO Nationals. Good luck with your summer training, and we look forward to what Region 5 will bring in 2019. Speaking of bringing it in 2019, our Making Moves Monday returns this week, so please upload those upgrades to your individual or club Instagram accounts, make sure they are public, and tag the Region 5 Insider so we can share all the new skills and combos in our region over the summer and fall. We will also have more content from Easterns and JO Nationals coming at you over the next few weeks. Again, we love what we do and would love your support by becoming a patron or shopping for those gymnastics necessities in our Amazon store on our website. Links to both are in the show notes. Follow us on all our social media accounts for up-to-date information on what's going on in Region 5. If you have any comments, questions, etc., please feel free to email us at region5insider@gmail.com or leave us a voice message on Skype at R5 Insider Podcast. Thanks again to Speith America and Energym Music, as well as all our insider sponsors, for all your support of the Region 5 Gymnastics Insider. We'll have one podcast per month, as well as some interview-style podcasts over the summer. We'll let you know who will be joining us and when these will be posted. Thanks again for joining us for our second Region 5 Insider Podcast, and as we say...
I'm a Region 5, we are burning fire. Say 1, 2, ready or not, here I come, coming in hot. I'ma take my body for a spin.